Hi there, Sage Canaday of VO2 Max Productions here with another training talk. Today we're going to talk about vitamin and mineral deficiency when it comes to endurance athletes. And this question came from Kyle Roy. Thank you again for the comments and all the votes. And he mainly asked about iron deficiency in runners, but I've decided to touch on 4 basic vitamins and minerals that I think are worth looking out for, and that's vitamin D, vitamin B12, iron, and magnesium. So with these vitamins and minerals that I'm about to touch on, I'll first say this is a full disclaimer. I am not a doctor, I'm not a dietitian or nutritionist. I did take a couple classes in nutrition at Cornell University, and I've learned a lot from lay study, just my own problems over the years, but also observing other athletes from the NCAA Division I college level to Olympic hopefuls, just kind of seeing what works for other people. But consult your doctor before taking anything. This information is not meant to treat, cure, or prevent any disease. And definitely take my advice with a grain of salt or pepper. So the first vitamin that I want to talk about is vitamin D, and this is vitamin D3. It comes in that form that you want to absorb. And my doctor a long time ago thought I might be deficient in it, and sure enough I got tested, I got a blood test, and I was low in vitamin D. And it's something that you could synthesize by being exposed to the sun. A lot of people are like, well, I go outside, I run in the sun, I don't wear too much high sunscreen protection, I'm running outside all the time, but you could still be low in it. And it's a fat-soluble vitamin, something you want to take with something like eggs or dairy or, Udo's oil, whatever you're taking, it helps you absorb it better. And what vitamin D really does is it's really important for your bones, and for runners, bone density, bone strength is obviously a good thing to have, as well as your teeth and things like that. But I take about 400 IUs a day, and consult your doctor, of course, first before taking it, and you should get tested. And I know a lot of you might think, oh, well, I eat total cereal in the morning and it's got 100% of everything that I need, and I drink vitamin D fortified milk, so I should, be absorbing it all. But, are you really absorbing it all? It may differ depending on the individual and your genes and your level of stress and other things that you take into your diet. So definitely something to be aware of. The second vitamin I want to talk about is vitamin B12, and this is something that really gives you a punch for energy. You see, it's something that the body can't synthesize by itself. You have to get it from external sources, and obviously animal products are a good source of B12, but you also see with a lot of times senior citizens, elderly populations, they have to get regular B12 injections, and I've gotten some B12 injections over the years as well. And this is really important because it affects your energy level, but it also could affect your mental health, your brain function, and all sorts of energy producing pathways that are going on in your body. So vitamin B12, while it is usually more rare, it is something to look out for, and it's definitely something that I get tested regularly for, and something that I've been low in over the years. But for athletes, it's a good thing to have. It's water soluble. It's harder to overdose on it. It's basically, you're going to be getting all these pills, and they're going to be thousands of % of your daily value, and that's a normal serving size because you only absorb a fraction of the % of it. And if you're not absorbing most of it, what it's going to end up being is expensive piss, basically. So, you could take that with a grain of salt, but it's something definitely worth looking into, and something that a lot of athletes use to try to, improve their energy levels. So the third mineral that I want to talk about is magnesium. And this also falls kind of under the category of probably not quite as common, but it's something that could really destroy your athletic performance, giving you muscle cramps, affecting your energy levels, as well as all sorts of horrible complications that's going to make your running a nightmare. Nervous system functioning, muscle function, things like that. And I take the form magnesium aspartate. But it's definitely something that I get tested regularly when I get a blood test, and something to watch out for in athletes. You could lose a lot through just through sweat, just through not absorbing it very well, just from drinking too much soda and coffee, something that I'm guilty of as well. So it's definitely something that's a little less likely, but something that could be something that you're deficient in. So it's something to be aware of. And then last but not least, the main mineral that was the topic for this whole discussion was iron deficiency, and iron deficiency in runners. And again, there's two forms of iron, heme iron and non-heme iron. That's iron coming from animal sources, and then iron coming from things like vegetables or nuts or dates. And so with iron, a lot of runners, and I've seen guys that I trained with in college and at Hanson's Brooks, who they ate tons of red meat. They're eating meat 3 times a week. They were eating all sorts of animal products, and they'd still be low in iron, and it would affect their running, and it would be a big negative effect. You don't have iron, basically it means you don't have oxygen, as much oxygen you could get to your muscles. The iron helps form red blood cells, and on the red blood cells you have hemoglobin, which is the oxygen carrying capacity to your muscles. But it's very important to have, and generally you could get all sorts of tests for iron, total iron stores, serum levels, but the one that most commonly that I get is a ferritin test. And ferritin's usually a relatively good indicator of what your iron levels are at. And technically you could be not suffering from anemia. Anemia would be you actually have a low hemoglobin count, you have a low red blood cell count, and that's usually a lot less likely unless you have something else going on. But what happens with runners is we lose a lot through sweat, through going to the bathroom, a lot through our foot strike. Foot strike anemia is what they call it. The impact force destroying red blood cells as your feet hit the ground, especially when you run on pavement and other really hard surfaces like that. And if your diet's obviously deficient, that's going to hurt you in all aspects of these vitamins and minerals. But with the iron, with the ferritin level, like I know personally for me in the past when I was running horribly in my freshman year of college and even in high school, I get my ferritin tested, and if my ferritin was under 40, it started really negatively affecting my running performances. And technically, ferritin levels above 10 or 20, a lot of doctors would say, oh, that's fine. I've heard a lot of women that had ferritin levels in the single digits sometimes even, and it's obviously probably not something you want. You want to get that up, hopefully at least closer to 100. And you do have to be careful with iron supplementation though. I will say it's something that you could easily overdose on. Some people, you could absorb way too much and it's toxic. I mean, it'll kill you. It's not a good thing to take too much of. So consult your doctor for sure before any supplementation, I should say. But iron, obviously a big one with runners. And obviously, a lot of people ask me, oh, if you're vegetarian or, females versus guys. For women, it is harder, obviously, to get their iron levels up. It's more common in distance runners to have these problems. But, I don't eat red meat and I've been doing fine lately. And I think having an overall balanced diet is definitely something to strive for, and it's the ideal. People are like, well, if you just eat everything you should, you're going to get all these vitamins and nutrients, and yeah, in a perfect world that would be the case, but that's not how I operate, and that's not how most people operate. You don't always have a perfectly balanced diet with all your vegetables and everything all aligned in the right order. So sometimes you do have to supplement with taking some pills, and I think that's okay. And what's more important is to be aware of things that you could be deficient in that could negatively affect your athletic performance and negatively affect your health, your overall health and well-being as you get older and try to enjoy a higher quality of life. So final note about iron is that it's absorbed better in acidic environments. It's best to take it like vitamin C or orange juice, things like that. It'll help you absorb it a lot better. And so for a final note, I mean, we're all guilty of some indulgences at least. I probably drink way too much coffee, and I drink beer and wine, alcohol, caffeine. Those types of things are generally linked to blocking the absorption of a lot of these vitamins and nutrients. And so that's not an ideal thing, but coffee also has some good attributes to it, and so does beer. So you pick and choose your battles, and you try to do the best you can to improve your overall nutrition and energy levels if that's what you want to do. So also, like I said before, life events, stress, your genetics, other things that you eat, maybe even other medications if you're taking any, could all interact with the absorption and negatively interact with these vitamins and minerals. So definitely consult your doctor before starting anything, and yeah, definitely get it checked out. And blood tests are kind of expensive sometimes. For me, I do a walk-in lab and I order my own tests, including ferritin to check for iron mainly, and then magnesium. And then I also get a CBC, which is a complete blood cell count, because I like to read my red blood cell count and hemoglobin, as well as white blood cell count and all these other things that you could take note on. So thanks for watching this Training Talk Thursday. I hope you found the information useful, and if you did, please like and share the video, and feel free to comment below with a topic for next week. And thanks again for all the subscriptions, and subscribe for a new video every Thursday, if not more. And stay tuned for more VO2 Max Productions.